Mathematical functions in SQL Server. Hi, I'm M. Asif Hussain from KnowHow Academy. What are we going to learn in this video? We are going to learn the different mathematical functions we have in SQL Server, such as ABS, ceiling, floor, power, random, square, square root, and we are even going to see how to print 5 different numbers in from 1 and 100. So by this end of this video, you can able to get an excellent idea of the different types of mathematical functions with some practical examples in SQL Server. So watch till the end. So if we look into the first type of mathematical function we have is ABS. So ABS, it stands for absolute. It stands for absolute and it will return the absolute number. When we know that we are calling the word as absolute, it means that it is giving us the positive number. It is giving us the positive number. So the absolute function, the short form that we have to write when we are writing it as part of a function is ABS. ABS of, I am writing one negative number here. And if you see that when I am executing this number, I am getting an output with a positive 870.23. When I have given negative sign here, it is giving us as a positive result in the output. So absolute, what it will do, it will remove the negative sign and it will give us the positive number in the output. So ABS, it is nothing but is an absolute. The short form of writing it as a function, it is ABS. All right. So now let's look into the next type of mathematical function that we have is ceiling, which is on the top, which is higher, which is greater. Okay, that we have to keep it in a mind when we are writing it. So the syntax for writing the ceiling mathematical function is that we will write with ceiling, then we will give us the numerical expression. Okay, so ceiling, it will return the smallest integer value, okay, greater than or equal to the parameter. So whatever the parameter we are giving it, so greater than that we will get it in the output. So if we look into the another probable mathematical function that we have it in our SQL Server is floor. So I did not give you the example immediately for ceiling. The reason is that just let's compare the ceiling mathematical function and floor mathematical function, then let us learn the examples of it in a one, so that we can able to compare what exactly is the difference between these two mathematical functions. So when I'm talking about the floor, okay, the same syntax, we write the floor with the numerical expression, and what exactly it is returning, it is giving us the largest integer less than or equal to the parameter. Less than in the floor, greater than for the ceiling. So now let's look into the output. So if we see here, I am writing select ceiling. Ceiling is the mathematical function. So I am writing select ceiling of some number. So let us see what the output we are going to get. So when I am executing it, I am getting 74. The immediate greater number, my dear viewers, ceiling, it will give us the greater value or equal to it as per the parameter that we have given. So 73.4 is the parameter that we have given. So when we are writing the ceiling function, the immediate greater integer value after this 73.4, it is 74. That's where it is giving us 74. Now as it is a positive number, so the same thing, let us consider with the negative sign. I am writing the select statement and I am writing the ceiling as a mathematical function and giving the parameter in a negative sign. So when I am giving this in a negative sign, the immediate value is minus 73. So minus 73.4, the very immediate to this particular negative value, it is 73. That's where we are getting it in a 73. So now when I have given a positive number and when I have written 73.4 and when I am using the ceiling as a mathematical function, I am getting 74. For the same mathematical floor function with the same parameter 73.4, what is the output we are going to get? Let's look into that. So when I am writing select and floor as a mathematical function and when I execute it, I am getting 73. So I have already told in the description that the floor, it will return the less than value or equal to the parameter. So what is the lesser value to 73.4? The immediate lesser integer value, which is 73. So what it is generally doing, whenever and whatever we are writing it in a decimal, the value that we have lesser to that decimal value and greater to that decimal value, that we are going to get it in the output here, that we are looking into this one. So here when I'm telling that select a floor of 73.4, then 73 I'm getting it. So now let us even look into the negative value of this floor mathematical function. Then when I'm executing it, I'm getting minus 74, right? So the lesser value, as soon as we go higher number with the negative, it's like lesser value. Lesser value is minus 74. But when we are looking into the ceiling mathematical function, when I'm choosing the negative value, I'm getting minus 73 itself. All right. So ceiling, it's generally the greater than ceiling. Ceiling is nothing but what? It's a roof, it's a top, right? It's a floor, it's a ground, it's a lesser, it's down. So that is a general layman understanding that we can have it whenever we are trying to understand the difference between the ceiling and the floor mathematical function. Alright, so I hope you have got an idea on this ceiling and floor. Now let me walk into the another type of mathematical function, which is power. Okay, which is power. The syntax for it is expression comma power. Okay, it will return the power value of a specified expression. So now we might have learned this powers in our 9th and 10th standards or intermediate +1 +2 also. So here what's power? So when I'm talking about 2 comma 3, so 2 to the power of 3, so 2 is multiplied how many times? 2 is multiplied 3 times. 2 into 2 into 2. 2 2's 4, 4 2's 8. 8 should be the output. So let's look into it. When I'm writing select, power of expression is 2 and power is 3, and when I'm executing it, I'm getting 8. Am I right? This is right. So now even let's look into it. Okay, if I write like this, so if I write 6 comma 3, so 6 comma 3, 6 into 6 into 6. So what is 3 times 6? Let's check it out. It's 216. Am I right? So power function, what it is giving it us? It is giving us the power of the expression. 2 times 3, 6 times 3. Okay, some other value. If you would like to consider 7 times 2, if I would like to consider 7 times 2, then 7 into 7, 7 times 2, 7 7's 49. Okay, so very simple. Power function, we will write select power, then we write with the expression, then what power we are going to calculate for that we are going to give it. Alright, so this is something about the power function. Now let me walk you over the another type of mathematical function that we have, random. Okay, so random, it returns a random float number between 0 to 1, and rather than writing the complete word RANDOM, we are just writing RAND as random. Okay, so I'm just writing select random of 1. Okay, so when I'm executing it, it is giving us some 0.7135, and which is generally equal to 1. So when the seed value, whatever we are trying to give, so it will always return the same value. It will always return the same value for the same seed. So random function. All right. So if I would like to show you one interesting example, probably this might even be asked for any interview question as well. Just print me some 5 random numbers between 1 and 100, or 10 random, or some 2 random numbers between 1 and 10 using SQL query. So this is the most frequently asked interview question. So as we are already discussing the mathematical functions, I felt that this should also be discussed with everyone, so that this might be even helpful for you when you are attending some sort of interviews from SQL as a one technical skill set in your resume. So here, when I would like to print the 5 random numbers between 1 and 100 or whatever it might be. So first what I'm trying to do, I'm declaring a variable, and let's consider that variable as an integer. So now I'm setting that variable as 1. Okay, so now I'm using a while loop here. While my variable is less than or equal to 5, then I'm beginning the statement. Then what I'm printing it, I'm printing the floor, and I'm choosing the random mathematical function into 100. And then what I'm doing, I'm setting this variable with variable plus 1. As I have begun the statement, I have to end it. So if I execute it, all right, I'm getting some 5 random numbers. We can see 47, 94, 0, 34, 21. Some random 5 numbers we are getting it in between 1 and 100. If you would like to get some random numbers in between 1 and 10, let us consider in 1 and 10 you would like to get some 5 random numbers. Then if I execute it, we are going to get some 5 random numbers, which is such as 3, 7, 7, 5, 4, So something like this. So if you would like to print some random numbers, so we have to use the floor as a mathematical function by random function including in it. All right. So that's where we are going to get the proper output for the question that has been asked anywhere in interview or in the companies. So my dear viewers, let us learn few more mathematical functions we have in SQL Server, which is square. Okay, which is square. Now what is a square? What is a square? Square is nothing but multiplying it 2 times. Am I right? Square is nothing but multiplying it 2 times. So 7 sevens 49, 2 2s 4, 2 times 2 it's 4, 4 times 4 16, right? So square, it's multiplying 2 times. Square, it's number, it's a 2, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just writing the select statement and I'm writing the square as a function and 7 as a number. So when I would like to execute it, 7 sevens 49, you give any number here, it's up to you. If you give 8, so 8 8's a 64, right? I'm getting 64 here in the output. Or if you would like to go with 9 times 9, 9 9's 81, 81 is the output. If you would like to go with the 4 times 4, 4 16, that we are going to get it in the output. All right. So square is nothing but rooting. Square is nothing but multiplying it 2 times. Am I right? So it's a square function, square mathematical function. So we generally use this square mathematical function in real times when we have the projects which are related to finance sector, which are related to stock marketing sector, which we have to double it, right? Then we go with the square mathematical function, which will be very helpful for us to solve any issue that we are facing into it. So now let's look into the another type of mathematical function, last but not the least, which is square root. We might have heard this word square root many times whenever we are opening our mathematics textbooks and all, right? So square root. So the full form is SQUAREROOT, but in the SQL query, we are writing the short form of square root, which is SQRT, square root. So what is square root? So for example, if I have told that 4 times 4, square of 4, 4 4 16, so right? So if I write 16, square root of 16 is 4. If I write 64, square root of 64 is 8, right? So let me execute it and show you the output. So it's 8. So the same, if I write 16 here, then what I am getting I'm getting 4 here. Am I right? Square root of 16 is 4. So square root of 81, if I write it here, I am getting 9 here. 9 9's 81, right? 9 here. So my dear viewers, so these are the different mathematical functions we have in SQL Server. I would like to even show you that SQL Server by default has given lot of mathematical functions which we might not be aware of. So just let me guide over you here. So let me go to the Object Explorer and you can choose any database that you would like to go with it. And under this one, we have something called as programmability. And under programmability, we have functions. And under functions, we have some system functions. And under system functions, as you can see, we have aggregate functions, date and time functions, mathematical functions. So if I click on this mathematical functions, we can see that there are a lot of mathematical functions we have it in our SQL Server. As we have seen random, we have seen square, we have seen square root. All right. So there are a lot of mathematical functions. Ceiling, we have already seen this in our video today. In this video, you have learned what are the different types of mathematical functions we have in SQL Server, and you have also learned one important interview question to print some 5 or 10 random numbers between 1 and 10 or 1 and 100, which is the most frequent commonly asked interview question nowadays. So thank you for choosing KnowHow Academy as your source for IT knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate the tech world. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. Stay curious and keep learning.